Okay, so in this video, I'm going to go through the 5 underrated principles of email marketing. Okay, these are things that don't really get talked about in the email space, things that a lot of email agencies don't know or don't want to talk about because it's not sexy, and things that brands probably need to pay attention to. So, the state of the agency space right now is I've been in the agency space for about 3 years, and most agencies do a great job of selling their service, but do a very poor job at actually delivering on their promise. And that actually then leads to where trust is right now, which is extremely low. Most brands don't trust any agencies that they work with because they have at least 2, 3, sometimes 4 or 5 terrible experiences where an agency have charged $3, $4, $5,000 up front or per month, and then delivered a cookie cutter, your favorite guru kind of email marketing approach, right? So the way that we're going to change this is kind of twofold, really. Brand owners need to demand more of the agencies that they hire or be more selective, and agency owners need to pull their finger out and actually give more of a shit about the brands that they're serving rather than just thinking about how can I get to 100K a month and make some cool YouTube videos and sell some digital products. Okay, so I'm going to go through 5 principles which I think are extremely important, and I'll give a little bit of an explanation for them. So principle 1, data over emotion every time, right? So data is always going to drive your decision, right? It's always going to help you make smart decisions and test smart in your emails. And what I mean by that is data isn't, oh, well, it worked for this brand, so it'll work with this brand, right? Or it's not, oh, my favorite guru said this flow needs 5 emails, therefore that's what we need, okay? That's just copying what other people say, and it's not really using data. What we're talking about is pulling relevant data from your email providers at your Klaviyo, Sendlane, Yotpo, whatever you're using, right? MailChimp, if you're still using MailChimp, right? It's pulling relevant data like customer cohorts, engagement, buyer behavior, drop-off points, trying to really understand where the customers are, right? When you pull that data, you can then start to understand it at a deeper level, and you can start to see where patterns are. Once you've then done that, you can then start to drive testing of the thing that you're actually doing. So it's about going that little bit deeper, a few layers deeper than most people care to do. And the reason most people don't do it is because it takes time. It takes time, takes understanding. Data can be quite, intense. Yeah, so the reality being, like, most agencies and brands need to actually understand the data and put some time and energy into understanding what the data is telling them, and then making some testing protocols to see what actually works, right? So, side note, just because it works for one brand doesn't mean it works for another, which is true. Some of the plain text emails that we send for one brand don't work for another. Some of the sales emails we send for one brand work for one and not the other. Some brands need 7 or 8 welcome emails, some only need 3. So this idea that, like, because it worked for this brand, it'll work for this, not true. Even the same for niche, like 2 pet brands are not the same. The audiences are completely different. Okay. Principle 2, this is my favorite one, do more. Okay, so most agencies, they build some flows that they copied from your favorite guru course, they paid $1,500 for, or $900 or whatever it is now. They'll throw together some campaigns and then they'll say, that's us, we're email marketing. It's not, okay? It's not email marketing to, like, I have a course on YouTube, you can watch that and it gives you some ideas. Don't go and take that and do exactly that. Use it as a foundation to build on, but don't build that and think, okay, that's email marketing, we've now done it, because it's not. What we need to be doing is getting a deep understanding of the brand's audience and the various stages of the customer journey. So this ties into pulling actual data and creating customer cohorts and understanding, what's actually happening. When you can start to understand how a stranger goes from landing on the site to considering the product to then when they buy and under what circumstances they buy and then buy again, you can start to streamline the actual process of your email marketing. But you can also just make it easier to plug the gaps, ultimately, which is what we want to do. You can also then create personalization at scale, and you can keep the customer heart of every strategy that you build. So there's one thing that many brand owners won't admit, but they'll come to an agency and say, oh, we want to send this email today for this sale and push this item. And it's like, that sounds great in theory, but we need to think about the wider strategy and, does it tie in with what the customer is expecting? Can we fit it into a scalable send strategy? does it actually tie into what the brand says they want? Like some brands will say they want to be a trusted partner and then just run sales all the time, which it's not the same. Okay, so the idea here is like keep the customer at the heart of everything you do. Does the customer want this? Does my avatar want this? Does the person at this stage in the journey need this thing now? If not, don't do it. Then principle 3, strategy is more important than segmentation, which is more important than timing, which is more important than copy, which is more important than design. So if you spend enough time on Instagram, you'll see that most agencies focus on design as a USP. Oh, we create beautiful emails. Cool. Typically, that will appeal to a lot of misguided brands. So when I speak to typically single owner brands that are kind of figuring it out, a lot of the time they think that they need a nice design email to make more sales. And there's good marketing on the agencies to kind of play into those fears. The reality is you can send the ugliest emails in the world and make money. Gymshark are a prime example. Their emails are gross. They're extremely boring. There's not much to them, but I guarantee they make a fortune. And I guarantee that they put more time and energy into the strategy and who they're sending the email to. Okay, so no amount of great design can outperform a well thought out strategy. No amount of witty copy can outperform a well thought out strategy. And who you send to is more important than what you send. So I'll give an example, right? If I get an email from Gymshark who send the ugliest emails, I open almost all of them because I love the brand. I love what they're about. I love what they're selling. I want to buy when there's a sale on. I want to buy when there's a new drop on. So their email doesn't even need to be that good. It could literally just be 20% off men's shorts, and I'm going to buy every pair of shorts there are because that's what I want. So whoever does CRM with Gymshark, you send me that email, I'll buy all your shorts. So the point being here, like your subject line is important, your copy is important, your design is important, when you send is important, who you send to is important, the strategy overall, i.e., keeping the customer at the heart of everything is the most important thing. So don't think, it's the design and that, then the copy and then the timing. It's the other way around always. So the design, I promise you can send the ugliest emails in the world and they will still make loads of money. Guaranteed. Principle 4, run hot. Okay, so most brands know very little about deliverability, and as do most agencies. Okay, most agencies will push you into the spam folder because they don't pay attention to it. Most brands will end up in the spam folder. Okay, I'm not going to jump into like in-depth deliverability and what's what, but reality being, you need to understand that there's no inbox hack. There's no special code you can add to your email. There's no special process that will guarantee you'll end up in the inbox. You are a brand selling products online, therefore you're promoting. So you will end up in the promotion tabs a lot. Okay. Also, stop holding on to dead subs. If somebody hasn't opened an email in 120 days, hasn't been on your site in 120 days, hasn't bought in 120 days, probably stop sending them emails at this point or send a lot less frequent because they're not opening. You have lost them. So just get rid of them. And also be relevant. So send content that's actually relevant. Send content that people want. This kind of ties into things I was saying at the top, like understand what your customers want and send them relevant. Send them offers that are relevant to their stage in their journey. Send them messaging that's relevant to how loyal they are to you as a customer. Like if you're going to be relevant, then your emails aren't going to end up in the spam folders. If you're going to be relevant, people are going to want to open the emails and click and do things. So be relevant. And then the last one, test smart. You don't need 300 split tests to create a successful email marketing strategy. You don't need to test everything. You don't need to test button colors and font sizes and placements of things. Like some of these things are cool and they may help like 1-2% of some part of your strategy, but you only need a handful of tests that you're going to run. So first one, spend 80% of your testing budget on your email pop-up. If you can double the people that end up on your list of the same quality, then the chances are you're going to double your revenue that comes through. Now, obviously, there'll be some flex, but if you can quadruple the amount of people sign up, there's a good chance you can quadruple your revenue without doing anything different. So spend a lot of your time making your pop-up the most enticing way of getting people onto your email list. Test offers, test messaging, test timing, like test all of it one at a time. Then test opens. So be different, be bold, create subject lines that are different, try one word subject lines, try subject lines, ask questions, build intrigue, use some emojis, do things that are different, because like if you open your inbox and have a look and see all your emails, you're going to delete most of them unless you see like a Gymshark 20% off shorts, you'll be clicking it. Most of the time it's just going to be gone. And then the final one, test clicks. So I'm not talking about button colors like, oh, if we do a red button, we'll get double clicks. There's some argument that the colors, will do some different things, but when people start opening your emails, they're not at the same point as when you're grabbing their attention from scrolling Facebook, for example. It's two completely different things. Red on an advert saying breaking news is going to draw more attention than red on a call to action button in an email. People don't care. They don't give a shit. Okay. So it's all about the messaging inside. Like when they open that email, you're selling the click at that point. Like, why should they click? What are they going to do? What are they going to get? Okay, so that's it. Do those three things. 80% of your testing budget on your email pop up, test your opens, and test your clicks. Now, if you do those 5 principles, right, as an agency owner or as a brand, you will start to create actual customer journeys that make sense for your audience. You'll delight your audience. You will make more sales. You will become more profitable. You can rely less on sales. You can do things you want to be doing and actually making an actual impact as a brand. That's it. Hope you enjoyed that. Any questions, comments below. Always happy to answer.